Hi everyone, Mrs. Knapp here. Sorry that my little face in the corner wasn't here yesterday, but it should be there today. We are going to continue on with chapter 3. It's called Bump on a Log. There were 4 ponds on the island. Frogs lived on every pond except pond 4. A few days after the young tadpoles became frogs, they had to pick which of the 3 ponds they would like to move to. The frog in charge of housing was Bump. He stood up one day to explain the 3 different ponds to the young frogs. Pond 1. This is the fancied area and the most expensive pond. Frogs who lived here built the biggest lily pads to catch flies on. They are the hardest workers, too. They have to work long hours. The frogs who live here are called hoppers. They used to work so hard thinking that if they did, they could overcome the thrall disease. It doesn't work, but they still keep working really hard. However, they don't remember why. Pond 2. This pond is the most fun. Frogs on pond 2 are called floppers. Floppers detest hoppers. They think they waste their time working all the time. Hoppers hate floppers because they have all the fun and they think floppers are lazy. When the thrall disease hits, frogs on pond 2 decide to never talk about the problems and ignore the fact that the deluge will come. They stay up late, wake up late, and get to work late. They play and party all the time. Pond 3. The frogs on pond 3 are called mudders. It is made up of frogs who have given up. They don't work hard or long. They just go through the motions and avoid work if they can. They talk a lot about problems, but they think you can't fix something that is broke. Pond 4. It is the prettiest pond, but no one lives there because that's where the herons usually made their nests. All the frogs had to write down on a piece of paper where they wanted to live. Bull decided he wanted to live on Pond 1. He liked to work hard. Misty chose Pond 2 because she was ready to party. Plop thought Pond 3 sounded good and a lot less energy. Spark didn't like any of the choices but chose Pond 1. He liked working hard and he didn't focus on anything. He thought maybe he would stop turning orange. Maybe even turn back to ordinary green. Unfortunately, there was not enough space for all the frogs on ponds 1, 2, and 3. So Misty, Bull, Spark, and Plop were told they had to live on pond 4. Yikes! That is where the herons lived. They had no choice. To make them feel better, the housing director said the deluge would be coming soon that would wipe out all of the pond's habitats so everyone would be able to ask for a new pond. Chapter 4. Pretty fly for an orange guy. It was a sad day when Bump told Spark, Misty, Plop, and Bull to the pond 4. Bump simply told them, I'm sure everything will be fine. That might have been reassuring, except that he was standing right behind a sign that said, Beware, herons. Once Bump was gone, they all sat quietly for a few minutes, afraid. It was Spark who broke the silence. If you think about it, this pond is actually beautiful. Misty squeaked, Shh. What if there are herons? They will hear you. Spark felt bad for what he had said, but not before a new orange spot popped up as soon as he mentioned how beautiful the pond was. After about a half an hour with no sightings of herons, Bull began to work, which is what he always did, especially if he was afraid. He began to make a mud house. Spark jumped in to help too. Misty, thinking the coast was clear, decided to lounge on a lily pad. Plop just sat down muttering about how pointless it all is. Every once in a while, someone would yell, Heron! And they would all jump into the water and try to be very still. But no herons came. They were all false alarms. After a few hours, they were getting hungry. Not knowing where the best place to catch flies would be, Bull and Spark set off to find a good lily pad to catch flies on. Bull caught the first fly. Then Spark caught one. Bull jumped off his lily pad, swam fiercely to another one, waited to try to catch another fly, give up, and move on to spot after spot. Spark stayed in one spot and meditated on their new home and its orangeness. Some days it seemed that his orangeness was fading. And other days, the orange was back even more. He wanted to be normal and green, mostly because he was worried the herons would find him. As he was thinking about it, he realized that whenever he thought about good things or talked about them, he felt good and he became more orange. Just then, he opened his mouth and another fly landed on his tongue, and then another one, and they just kept coming. When he had plenty to eat, he started saving the flies and putting them on a lily pad to share with the others. He realized the flies were attracted to the orange. Spark brought the lily pad back full of flies for Misty, Bull, and Plop. At first they were afraid, so Spark moved back out into the water and called them, saying, "Those flies are for all of you to eat." They were amazed and ate. This made Spark feel good, so of course he turned even more orange. When he looked down, he was totally orange. So, question for today. And remember, if you're at home, go ahead and answer these out loud. If you're at school, make sure not to shout out the answers, okay, so everyone can keep hearing. So, our question is, if you had to pick one pond that described you, which pond would it be? Remember, just think about it in your head if you're at school. If you're at home, you can go ahead and say it out loud. Pond number 1 are the hoppers, and they're the hard workers. Pond number 2 are the flappers, and they waste time because they would rather have fun. Pond number 3 are the mudders. They give up and don't work hard. Or, do none of these 3 ponds fit you? Would you rather be on pond 4? Think about it and do what your teacher tells you. Bye for now. See ya.